patient's perspective. It is not a medical perspective or anything like that. Just a few points that I've learned over the years, not a definitive map on all of depression, how it works, and how to treat it. We just took a intellectual and hopefully compassionate approach, crunched the great geniuses that we found together, and probably added a little bit of compassion to that. Although Carl Jung was a very compassionate guy. I mean, maybe the others were too, but Carl Jung, you could tell he like really cared through his writings, etc. Right? So I'm attempting to help others understand and feel understood, find some possible causes, though no real cause or causes are definitively known at this time, and give some hope, right? One of the things we talked about in our example quotes from Tupac is the feeling of hopelessness. A very big point in this thing. Without hope for the future or anything bright in the future, it makes it very hard to move forward or even take action to treat it, okay? If the future's hopeless, no matter what, because of our dark lens, why would we even want to exert the mental effort to even do anything, even answer a question? We'd frankly rather just do nothing, right? In a lot of cases of severe depression, major depressive disorder, right? So there is some hope. The Buddhist contribution that we got into was the 5 hindrances, and I wanted to remind you of this just because in crawling forward, or walking forward, or swimming forward, we have these big weights on the back of our back, right? So as we're swimming forward, we're exhausting ourselves, being weighed down by these weights, right? So you'd have to be a superhuman probably to eliminate these things completely from your psyche or life, but I think just slight lessening of these can make a major difference in the ease with which we can proceed forward, okay? These 5 things, if you just ratchet them down a little bit, as I said, and how do we do that? Well, we probably in a meditative state or even in meditation or on a paper analysis or something like that, we examine where are they present in myself, okay? Where within me or you might these things be present? We do not beat them out of ourselves. That does not work. Knowing where they are located is more than half of the battle, I would say. From there, you could probably make little adjustments within reason. Okay, you don't have to eliminate ill will from your life totally and completely forever. There may be some SOBs that you just can't stand, and that's fine, right? But try to just give them a little bit of a break, lower it a little bit. Don't focus on it too much, and think, well, I could probably treat the depression better if I didn't hate the SOB so much, right? That sounded a little mean, but you know what I mean, right? Ill will, right? Real strong ill will can really make it hard to proceed forward, right? Even if they are one. No, I'm just kidding. Dr. Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung, Aldous Huxley. This was the order we went in, right? And I think it was a good progressive order because it went from loss or anger directed inward, less so, with Sigmund Freud's ideas, to Carl Jung and Freud somewhat of the idea of looking into the unconscious to see what we could find and hopefully put it into a good context and treat this thing on the psychological level, right? Then comes Huxley, emphasizing the social and spiritual aspects of this thing, right? So my research, what it did was allow me to put years and years of poor to medium to inconsistent results into a meaningful context so that I could feel as if, in the context of things, I didn't necessarily waste years and years and years. And I don't think they were a total waste anyway, but I think I could have done a lot better if I'd known this stuff a long time ago. Just even though my models are not, perfect or complete, I think knowing what I know now and have presented in this presentation, if I'd known it a lot earlier, I could have done a lot better, right? And as I say, depressed individuals are one of the greatest sources of untapped potential on the planet. I think I really mean that. I can't prove it at all, but the more I think about it, there are probably geniuses lying in bed not doing anything because they can't move and have no hope for the future and are looking at the world through a gray lens and perhaps even a maladjusted consciousness, okay? Think about that. A genius doing nothing, right? He could make the contributions of Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung, except for the fact that he's suffering from severe depression, right? Think about that. Untapped potential on the planet, right? Worth thinking about. And that's the end. I wanted to remind you that there's a lot of potential in a lot of depressed people, and just making a slight improvement, we can exercise a little bit more potential. And as it gets better and better and better, well, it would be obvious, right? Micro improvements in the individual on a large scale, a lot of individuals, I would think, create micro improvements in society itself. Though I'm not 100% sure you can make that conclusion. That is what I would think, and I think a lot of people would think that too. Special thanks to the good docs, Dr. Sigmund Freud and Dr. Carl Jung, right, who really made this possible. Sigmund Freud gave us the starting point, and basically, these guys mean a lot more to me, including Huxley, than just theories on depression. Okay, they taught me various things throughout life and improved my life in various ways. So I'd recommend exploring them. Okay. Huxley, the depression stuff was surprisingly quite buried. A lot of his stuff was not really related to depression. And I'm glad I found it, because I think his contributions were immense. And he was perhaps good at, through his, broadening of consciousness, looking in places where other people did not particularly look. I think he was brilliant at that, right? I had to put in Sir Chat GPT, and I mean it. Thank you for helping me with my ADD and circumventing it, because without a little bit of diving in brief periods to intense actual intellectual work till my brain felt fried, then stepping back in, helping me organize the material, couldn't have done it, okay? But I think I did a lot of work on this, and a lot of it was mine. I didn't just say, please make me a presentation on depression, and then I will do it. I didn't do that. All right? Thank you all for listening. You're the most important part of this thing. If no one listens, then it's pretty pointless, isn't it? But I think I can help at least a little bit, okay? And lastly, we will thank Tupac for his contributions in quotes that allowed us to explore what depression actually was, right? And that negative feeling about the past, present, and future. And then he reemerged, not depressed, and seemed to contradict himself, which is a very common phenomena in depression itself. Contradicting oneself once one feels better, okay? And the depressed patient will even admit that. They'll say the whole past is a waste and the future is hopeless. Then you catch them when they're not depressed and have made great improvements on their depression, and they'll say, yeah, I said that, but I was depressed. I mean, it obviously looked like that. My life hasn't been that bad, right? I had some great experiences that made me who I am today, and it's like, what? You said it was all a waste a while ago. So just reminding the depressed patient, that can happen, okay? The past, present, and future can be put into a whole new context when your brain gets a little bit better, okay? And we'll end with a great quote from Tupac, right? He had a lot of great quotes that we can't repeat here, but this one, very motivational, and frankly motivated me to do a lot of this project, okay? I'm not going to change the world, but I guarantee you that I can spark the brain that will, all right? Well, we'll end with that, and thank you all. Thank everyone on this slide, and please do the best you can. I know it's not easy. I know it's not even easy to understand if you're not suffering from depression. But I can assure you it's a real phenomena, and people have been plugging away at this for hundreds of years, and it has not been completely solved. And as I maintain, depressed individuals are one of the greatest sources of untapped potential on the planet, in my opinion. Okay, you don't have to believe that, but I do. So thank you, and do the best you can, and I really appreciate the opportunity to do this, all right? Peace be with you.